right now I'm out here at the pond. I got some fishing kits, I got some worms, and I'm gonna be showing you guys 3 worm rigs that every bass fisherman needs to know. This is just overall how to rig a soft plastic, but I'm gonna be doing it on a worm. So to get started, number 3, it's the easiest, it's the simplest, and it's honestly one of the most effective. I'm gonna be using the KG bass fishing kit for this one. I've already pulled out the worm, but now for the hook, it is so super simple. It's called the wacky rig. Now with the knowledge of how to rig this and how to fish this is a dangerous rig, okay? You can catch a lot of fish. All it is 2 parts. You have a worm. This one just happens to be a 4-inch Cinco style in watermelon. That's the one we have in the kit. But any kind of soft plastic worm will work for this. Not so much creature baits like the brush hog, but any kind of worm will work. Second, just a hook, and this one is our wacky hook we have in the kit, but it's pretty much just a basic hook. And if you only have worm hooks that look kind of like this, you can use those too. But it's just super simple. You tie this on your line, then you're going to find halfway point in the worm, come in with your hook, hook it straight up halfway through the worm. It looks like the most simple thing in the world. Mine's a little off center. It'll still work. Here, I'll even center it up a little more. The more perfectly centered, the better, but it doesn't have to be perfect at all. So boom, right there. It's pretty well even. You just hook it straight through the middle, simplest thing ever. Basically, you're just going to throw that out, and as it falls, depending on your worm quality, it should shimmy just like that as it falls. And then as you twitch it up, obviously it's going to twitch up and then it's just going to sink again. These aren't really in any specific order or anything, but this could be ranked as number 1. If you guys have ever used a wacky rig, tell me down in the comments because it's super effective. And now on to the second way I like to rig a worm. Super simple. This is my favorite. But this is where we're actually going to be bringing out like a worm hook. A specific worm hook. And the rig we're going to be doing now is weedless. And this is the same way. But at the end of the day, you're going to want your worm and your hook to kind of line up like that. So you can see kind of how it's supposed to be on the outside, except this will be in the inside. So to do that, you start off with your hook right here. And then you're going to start at the head and you're going to go straight in. All the way up to that first bend. From there, just let it pop out at a 90 degree. So pull your worm, let it pop out at a 90 degree angle. From there, go ahead and push that worm up on the hook, and then you'll just naturally spin this hook right here, and then it'll just jump into place. And once you already have it tied on, your knot will actually be inside the worm, which doesn't matter at all, but that's just how it is. From here, you can look at it right there. You can see where your thing's going to line up. For me, I know that it's going to be right on the back of the middle thing. It's going to be going through right there. I'm just going to try to get it right there. And I'm going to make it try to go in it right there at a 90 degree angle. So boom. I don't know if you guys could see that too good, but boom. Alright. Now we turn it back sideways, and now we see that it's actually rigged up pretty good. But there's one last step we need to do to make this truly weedless, and that's going to be very simply, we're just going to pull up on the little bit of the plastic and stab that hook in it by pushing it back to where it goes. This is called the Texas rig. Texas rig is just how they call how this is hooked right now, to where it's weedless. But for me, this is actually my number 1 whenever I'm just using stuff, because weightless, it has a very similar action to the wacky rig, how you can throw it, you can skip it under stuff. Whenever it falls, the tail kind of wobbles like that, and then whenever you twitch it, it kind of twitch, kind of like darting. So it's a little bit different than a wacky rig. But I like it because now, it pretty much fishes the same as a wacky rig. But now it's weedless, so you can throw it around grass, you can throw it around sticks a little bit better. The only difference, you're going to have a little bit heavier rod to set the hook on this, since the hook is now bigger, and you're going to have to set the hook for it to come out of the plastic into the fish's mouth. So that's number 2. It's called the weightless Texas rig. Boom, 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 boom. Number 1. This is in no particular order, and this is actually my number 3. But still, it's so simple. That's what's nice about it. The weighted Texas rig. It's super simple, but if you've just tied this, you're going to have to cut your line. Because the first thing that goes on your line is actually going to be a bullet style sinker. Now, it's like a bullet, but there's a hole straight through the top and out the bottom. First, you're going to run your line through the point and out. From there, just slide it on down your line and let it be. An optional thing is if you want to add a bead, you can add a bead on your line, just like that. And then you're just going to slide that down your line again. What that's going to do is 2 things. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Then you're going to come in just like normal with your extra wide gap hook, and you're just going to tie that knot. Boom, pull that tie, and then boom, you have it what we call a weighted Texas rig, or most people just call this a Texas rig. Now, whenever you throw it in, it's basically going to go boom. So the weight's going to be pulling it down to the bottom, and then you can hop it, but then it's going to come back down. This is a good way to fish the bottom or deeper, because this can take a while to sink. This is really slow sinking. So if you want to fish 10 feet down, to let this get down 10 feet weightless would take a while. Throwing on this little bit of weight, it's going to go ahead and pull it on down there. And then you pull it up and then it kind of sinks again. I mentioned earlier, the bead does a couple tricks. One, may not be much. Every time the weight touches the bead, it's going to clack a little bit. Not a big deal, a little bit, just adds a little bit of sound. Two, depending on how it goes, the bead will actually slide over your knot and protect it, because sometimes if this weight is just sitting there slamming onto your knot, it can weaken the knot. Don't really worry about it that much. That's not the hugest deal ever. But that is my top 3 bass fishing rigs everybody needs to know. And with the weightless Texas rig or the normal Texas rig, you can rig that up with any soft plastic. The only thing that you really need a worm for is probably the wacky rig. And there's a bunch more rigs out there, like the Ned rig, you got the Nico rig, you got the Carolina rig, but realistically, those 3 rigs will take you a long way. If you want to see my top 5 bass fishing lures for beginners, click right over here. Or for more bass fishing videos, click right over here.